structure where on a bad day we support you. I'm happy to tell you today, CPA Makone went to India through our support with over 400,000 collected collectively amongst us to support him. I think we need to be more involved in our members' concerns.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, last question in the first part. What is your take on the audit quality assurance program of the Institute? And what is your proposed view on the areas of improvement? Starting from CPA Obare. I hope you got the question. What is your take on the audit quality assurance program on the Institute? And what is your take on the proposed areas for improvement?
So currently on our quality, the audit quality assurance of the Institute, I know that we carry out the quality assurances all over the country. One of the things I want to focus on really is to ensure that we empower this arm within the Secretariat so that we are also able to have resources that are extremely competent in terms of checking how our other people who practice are reviewed within the Institute. And also one thing that I know we want to do also in terms of the audit is the support we want to give through online. We have seen that very many members are indeed doing their audits right now manually. One thing we want to do is to ensure that we put a system somewhere to support our auditors so that they're able to do their audits online. And this software will go a long way in assisting in the quality of audit that we have within the Institute. And I'm sure most of us who have seen how the manuals audits go in terms of security, in terms of keeping this material for tomorrow and the days to come, the online is the way to go. And I'm sure that once we roll out this program whereby we do it online, the quality will definitely go up. Thank you.
Okay. CPA Husband.
Thank you. My view would be, number one, we need to strengthen the Secretariat, especially the team dealing with the AQA, so that they're able to deal effectively with issues affecting our practitioners and the quality of output they give. Number two is to support the quest for minimum fees guidelines, because if we do this, then as auditors, we'll be able to charge reasonable fees, pay competent staff to work for us, to be able to produce quality reports. As it is right now, if you look at audited accounts for any company, the audit fees are very low, the legal fees are very high, and then you expect quality to be maintained up there. It becomes very, very difficult, especially for medium and small practitioners. This is a very important tool that is going to help them. I would support that. Number three, and which is already taking place, we now have what we call a startup kit that has been approved by the PDC committee. For those who are joining the practice, you have something to look up to be able to guide you. So I think that is a good tool that if we embrace, we'll be able to make it very easy for our members to be able to improve. And of course, ICPAK has taken up the development of the audit software tool, which should be able to help our practitioners improve on quality. And then finally, I think as we look at progressing as ICPAK, we need to ensure that the members of staff who are going around helping to implement the AQA keep on embracing what is expected of them, and that requires that they need to be technically supported to be able to deliver.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
CPA Joshua.
Thank you very much. The issue of AQA started in 2010, 2011. That's the time ICPAK Council came up with that idea of we need to check the quality of auditors. As we speak now, we have over 900 practicing accountants. The best ICPAK can be able to do now is to have 2 quality reviews in a week. So it means as we speak now, it will take us 9 years for us to be able to check the quality of all the practicing accountants. My take would be we need to have capacity at ICPAK so that we have more people who are being engaged in these exercises and not just doing the exercises. There is feedback which is normally given by the practicing accountant to the institution. We also need a follow-up of the implementation of the ideas coming from them. Two, I know most practicing accountants have not experienced these quality reviews because ICPAK doesn't have a budget. We don't have a budget allocated for doing quality audit reviews. So we also need, as ICPAK, when CPA Kamore joins, the change he is going to make is first to ensure that we have a budget so that we have subsequent visit to the practicing accountant on the bare minimum 3 years. The last item is when I was a member of Finance and Strategy through the IDF project. One of the projects we tried to implement through IDF was having a software which can be shared within practicing accountant so that we run away from the manual auditing and we go to digital auditing. As CP Kamore, when he joined council, because he already have the genesis of that process, him is just to implement and to ensure that in the next 1 year, we can be able to have a software to be shared amongst our practicing CPAs.
Thank you.
All right. As a practicing member, this is an item that touches close to home because that is what I do. First of all, I will say that as a member of ICPAK, the International Federation of Accountants, we are obligated to do audit quality reviews. Under statement member obligation number 1, we are required to go and look at the quality of the staff that our audit firms are doing. And so for us to remain compliant to ICPAK, that is something that we need to do. Now, the AQR process that we have, yes, it is something that has worked well. It is something that has built the institute. There's a lot of learning that we've done from this AQR, both for the auditors and for the institute. And this is an area which we need to pump in more resources, pump in more money, so that we can be able to get that review correct. At the moment, I think we only have 6 people working in that team. And if you are to think about it, that this country has about 900 firms, you'll find that there's a bit of a gap. 6 people are too few. So we need to resource that base of the institute so that they're able to do their work and they're able to do it well. The good thing about the AQR is that the product of the AQR enhances both the auditor and the institute so that the quality, the level of quality of work is lifted to a world standard so that the local auditors that we have can perform at a standard which is a global standard and at a high level. So towards that, one of the things that we need to do is to, one, either develop the software by ourselves, which will be a little bit difficult, but what we can do is to partner with a lot of these software companies that are coming up. Some of them are even our sponsors here, so that we can be able to develop a software which will help our auditors to enhance their standards so that they actually get to a global level and able to do it efficiently by using software audit software in that line. So with those recommendations, you'll find that our audit standards will go up, the cost of doing business for the practitioners will actually go down, and you'll find that they'll be able to get a good return and be able to concentrate more on providing quality to the clients, which we'll see with the clients appreciating our work a lot more, and we'll be able to enhance ICPAK as a creditable organization that produces quality accountants. Thank you.
Thank you. Last.
The issue of quality assurance and the sufficiency of what the institute is doing at the moment, I think, yes, I do agree with my fellow colleagues that there is need to build capacity within the institute. But then again, there is so much that you can do in terms of employing resources at the institute to do the job. I think the institute needs to come up with a framework where we can have peer reviews. We have Uganda here, we have Rwanda here, and I think we're interconnected in Africa today, as we saw in the presentation today. Why not then have a program where we can make use of those institutions and those other member organizations in other countries to introduce peer reviews? And when it's time for reviews, we can get support from those associations. Equally, is it possible to have peer reviews between firms practicing accountants themselves? I know there would be conflict of interest, but I'm sure there can be a framework of borrowing resources, because then the institute may not be, it's not possible to even do a peer review, or rather a quality review of the 900 practicing accountants. And you find that perhaps this quality assurance is now concentrated at few firms. So that is one of the things that I think needs to happen. Number 2 is feedback. When this review happens, I do not think that there is a mechanism of giving feedback to the members. Without going to specifics, it's possible to call the members and say, out of the peer review for this year, these are the pitfalls that we found. These are the common trend of the things that were not done right. that is going to educate the members. And obviously there is the issue of training, a consistent training to the members, and also the issue of resources. The software, the audit software is going to improve on the quality. It will also make it easy to be audited by the resources at the institute. So those are some of the things that I do want to agree with my colleagues that we need to do to improve on that process.
Okay. Thank you, candidates. We are now done with part one of the debate. I will invite my colleague Millicent just to run us for the second bit, which will involve you members asking some of the questions you feel the candidates need to address today. So thank you.
A round of applause for CPNZO, please. A better one, please, for a CPA. Good. My session is shorter and easier than his. And in the spirit of participation, we are going to invite members to come in front and ask these potential council members the relevant questions that you may have. 4 slots available, 2 ladies, 2 gentlemen. So you will come in front and we will give you a chance to ask the candidates the questions. The first hands to go up are the ones that take it. The first gentleman is here. CPA, come in front. And because that is from the middle, maybe we should get another gentleman from this side. If not, we will give the first hand from the back. Yes, this one. Please come in front. 2 ladies now. Sorry, my name is CPA Millicent Omukaga. I forgot to tell you. 2 ladies. No lady CPAs willing to hear from the potential council members. No, we are not moving without 2 ladies. No, we can't start without them. There's a lady in red at the back. Please come. Come. The lady whose hand was up, maybe it's pink, but I'm seeing a very nice color. I think it's pink. I'm sorry to call it red. One more lady. Let's make it quick, please, in the interest of time. We have 1 lady. We need 1 more. No, we are not moving until we have another lady. Can the men volunteer a lady who looks like they can ask a good question? AWAC lady, please come in front. AWAC is the Association of Women Accountants in Kenya, an association that I proudly sit in their board. So Madam Joyce, please come in front. I will give each one of them a chance to ask 1 question. And the rule is they will simply say who they are. They will ask 1 question each, and all the candidates have an equal chance of responding to their questions. And so, since the ladies took longer to come, we will give them the first chance to ask the question, starting with CPA Joyce. 1 question, all the candidates have equal chances of responding. Madam Joyce, please.
Good afternoon, fellow CPAs. I would like to pose 1 good question to our candidates. How are you going to help the ladies who belong to AWAC and who are members of this profession to advance in areas where they need to advance, because it has been very difficult getting them to have a balanced representation everywhere? The second question is,
The rule is one question, unless she whispers it to me and see how to handle it. One question, and we will start with CPA Obare. Thank you.
Of course, AWAC being our ladies, we've always worked very closely as an institute with AWAC. Among the opportunities we have for your ladies, or the ladies accountant, one of them actually is ensuring we empower them very, very much. We've reserved for them a very big space within the ICPAK complex to ensure that whatever they run as activities, they'll be able to be served from there. That's a big thing to empower them. Secondly, the programs we run, like for the youth, we have a way that we have a practical experience program whereby we put our young accountants into getting the practical experience. So among the way we shall do is to ensure that those who go in, the gender is equal. So if we are taking on 10, then there should be 50-50 from both gender, and that way we'll also empower them. In terms of committees that we have done so far, whatever committee we formulate as an institute, we ensure that our ladies are equally represented in those committees. Any board appointments, we ensure our ladies are there. So there are many things we've done, and I'm sure we'll continue doing to ensure that AWAC and our lady accountants are very well represented. Thank you.
Okay, few things that I would do to support our good sisters. One of them is obviously at the institute, we need to echo the chorus on what is contained in our constitution about at least a minimum of that. Let's not be like our MPs who couldn't pass the bill the other day. I think as the institute and as my colleague Obarea said, there is need first to lead by example, to incorporate the ladies in our committees. But then again, looking at my manifesto, some of the things that I really want to do are targeted at the ladies and the young people, and especially to aid them in being able to compete and to take their space, especially on the practicing side of things. So that needs to be implemented. The other thing that we need to do is obviously as the institute, we need to advocate, to work especially with government institutions, to lobby, Treasury for example, that any company that is tendering, any firm that is tendering for any public job, they do not meet the one-third constitutional spirit of gender balance, they should not even participate in that tender. They should lose it. So I think that is our way of really encouraging the ladies to excel in this profession. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, members. One of the first things I must say is that I believe that ladies are just as capable as the men, if maybe not more capable. So it's something that we need to provide them a lot more space so that they can be able to participate in this industry, to participate in this profession as they rightly should do. As ICPAK, I must say, we've also been good enough to ensure that right now, you find without any legislation, even before the requirement of the Constitution came about, you'll find that we've always, for a long time, like the last 7 years or so, we've always had a third as a gender role within the council and within the committees. So you'll find that it is not something that we instituted out of legislation, but it is something that we set the pace ahead. So I would say that we have played our part in giving ladies opportunities, giving ladies chances, encouraging them to come into the industry. Now, lastly, one of the things that ICPAK could do, you would find that even by the time you're going to accounting colleges, you find that the entry is maybe 80% male, 20% ladies, and it becomes very difficult to redress that balance at a later stage. So one of the things that I recommend that we should do, even at schools levels, at primary schools level, at high school level, ICPAK should kind of have a policy whereby we go out and we reach out to young girls and tell them, look, accounting is something for you. Accounting is an exciting industry to get into. It's an exciting profession to get into, and it is something that rewards you well. It is something that will give you a lot of joy, so that we get young girls when they are still choosing careers, rather than them going towards IT, going towards banking, going towards marketing, they can be encouraged to become accountants, because in accounting, we have space for them, we value their contribution, and we have time for them and space for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO AWAC, for touching the issue of ladies. The issue of ladies, I'm very passionate about ladies because my mother is a lady. And the concern which I have for ladies is currently as the chairman of ICPAK Youth and Students Affairs Committee, we have a pilot program which is running on trainee accountants, professional ethics. And on that program, we have 100 trainees. And out of that, I can assure you that through my leadership, over 40% are ladies. So I'm leading by example. I've already done some of the things which we need to address about ladies. If you read my manifesto, you'll find that I've said that on community service, I'm sponsoring 3 candidates who are candidates of KCSE, and I've been sponsoring them since Form 1. And I can assure you that out of the 3 candidates, 2 are ladies. I'm also the only candidate who attended our AGM. So you can also see that I have commitment to be able to serve ladies. And I can assure you, once you get me in council, we'll ensure that more ladies are joining the leadership. And the reason why even ladies were a bit shy to come here and ask questions is because they are convinced that their choice is CPA Joshua Kamwere. So they really didn't have much to ask. Thank you.
I would say that, number one, to be able to support our ladies is to lead by example. There is a saying there that I've always loved from Steve Jobs that says, you can always look at the footsteps looking backwards. And I think you can connect the dots looking backwards. I have a history and record of supporting ladies wherever I've worked with them. When I was Nyanza branch chairman, I supported the ladies to come up, and I left that branch with the vice chair being a lady, with the secretary being a lady, and they are here today. And I support ladies. When it comes to issues of mentorship, the choice of schools we've been going through to mentor girls has always been ladies first, men later. So I think I have that passion in supporting ladies in that respect. But more importantly, in council, I'm a believer that those nominations that we have to make as council must first of all ensure that we respect the gender rule and have our ladies given opportunities, perhaps ahead of men, and I will ensure I push that when I get to council. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from CPA Silas Menge, and you will all have equal chances of responding. And this time we will start responses from CPA Mburugu Kome. Thank you.
Good evening, members. Now, my question is based on quality assurance. I come from a training institution and I also practice partly. When you look around, you realize that the caliber of even members attending the annual seminar is changing with time. We are having younger members coming to the seminar than before, if you study around. Now, I want to pose this question. With the kind of training that we are having in institutions and the fact that ICPAK does not have the powers to check the kind of trainings that is done in institutions, then what if you are elected to the council? Are you going to do so that if it is ICPAK is given an opportunity and the powers probably to check the kind of trainings that is done in an institution such that we can be able to control that quality that we are talking about? The next issue probably is in terms of practice. What are we going to do as council members in terms of quality assurance to induce members to follow the practice that after 3 years you are supposed to exit a certain firm so that you don't have the familiarity of the firms that you are auditing? Thank you.
We agreed the rule is one question. Can I rule that we answer the one on training? And the second one we can write on a paper and pass to the CPA. All right? CPA Mburugu.
Thank you. The question of training and the quality of the trainees, or rather the young people we are churning out of our institutions, is key. But then again, I have to say that that has to be guided by, obviously, if they are universities, they are guided by their own charter. The only thing that the institute could do is to collaborate with those institutions, the universities, the colleges, to have a visibility of the curriculums, okay, including that of ICPAK, where I know, of CASNEB, where I know we participate. to be able then almost what you may call as a friend of those institutions to give input, because these institutions are independent. They have their own charters. You cannot then intrude into their curriculums, but we can make friends to them with a view to guide them to produce better quality accountants. Now, the question of what we need to do to support, and if you look at the trend, we have now 18,000 members, 6,000 registered last year. If you look at them, they are very young. In fact, the profile of the very young ones, they are still in the university. Now, what we need to do is really to support them. One, by offering them training within our institutions. Two, for those who want to become practitioners, make it simple for them to be within ICPAK, because even those who registered last year, and that I have checked, for a fact, most of them have not paid the subscriptions for this year. Reason? They cannot afford it. So let us make the CPD program affordable to them, easy to access, and encourage them to settle in the profession. That's what I could say.
All right, thank you. I'll also just reiterate that the public institutions or the universities, those are things which are truly outside the legal realms of ICPAK. And for us to say that we'll be able to influence their curriculum through laws would really be trying to push it too far. But as my colleague has said, that we can work with these institutions, and so that we can also help them benchmark internationally, so that we can say, look, for a person to come out as a qualified accountant, this is what he's supposed to be exposed to, this is what he's supposed to know. So ensure that your universities are able to expose these young people to this curriculum, and test them accordingly on that curriculum, so that when they come out, they are able to perform some of the duties that are required of an accountant. The other thing that we can do is also to provide mentorship, practical training, so that those young accountants who are going through schooling do not complete schooling without having gone through a practical course. So during your schooling period, you go through a 3-year schooling period or a 4-year schooling period, then after which it will be mandatory that you go work in an accounting environment for at least a year, so that you are given practical exposure to some of the requirements of an accountant. And then hopefully that way, and working with those institutions, we can be able to raise the level of the level of accountants coming out of our colleges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CPA from Eldoret, on that question. And I'm very privileged to answer this question, because as a PhD student, quality is very key. On the issue of quality, we have 2 avenues whereby we get expertise. We have people who normally come through professional qualifications, and we normally have the people who normally go through the ordinary 844 system. As we speak now, the government last year incorporated Kenya National Qualification Authority. It's a new authority which is going to go through all institutions and try to look at what are the qualifications of a finance professional, what are the qualifications of our lawyers. So through that, I've already given submission to ICPAK to ensure that as ICPAK, as young as this body is, we engage them and ensure that the voices on how we need our finance professionals to be trained, we've already ensured that we have that on their first policy papers. 2, on the issue of professional qualifications, we are normally getting most of that from CASNEB. And in our act, we have a mandate to advise the examination body on the quality assurance of the examinations, as well as the quality of the education they are passing through. And we are privileged that ICPAK is normally represented in the board of CASNEB. So it's upon the members to be able to give these submissions to ICPAK, then ICPAK through the board representative can be able to address these other issues. My last point on the quality is, currently we have TAPEV, as I've said, and it's on pilot program. And what we are proposing is, going forward, anybody who is being admitted as CPA member, they need to have at least 1 year post-qualification experience. And that's what we are running at a pilot test, so that if you've been having 3 years experience, we need to ensure the requirement of 3 years will remain, but we have 1 year post-qualification experience, whereby you go and engage with a firm or a company, whereby you are able to acquire the skills for us to be able to improve the quality of our education. Thank you.
My take would be that, number 1, ICPAK is represented in CASNEB board, and vice versa. We have CASNEB represented in ICPAK council. I think if we work very closely, we should be able to address issues of relevant content and quality of professionals that we produce. So I would work and support an initiative that will ensure that we work more closely, so that the quality that comes out is what we desire. Number 2 is on internship opportunities. Can we as ICPAK support our members and encourage our members to allow the students to have internship opportunities in our firms and in our organizations? And in return, can we then offer, even if it is CPD hours, to those members, so that then they also see the benefit of bringing the young people to go through the system so that they can be able to infuse whatever they're learning with the practical skills that are necessary. Thank you.
I am also a great believer in quality, and therefore it's great to know how quality will affect us. One of the things I can assure you is that we work closely with CASNEP, definitely to ensure that the quality of what is set in the syllabus is of high standard. So that is one thing that I will continue ensuring we move with. We engage with also those who are the key stakeholders in these specific institutions to ensure that whatever there is the input into the syllabus is indeed of high standard. But one thing that will really transform the whole industry is that once we change the act and redefine who an accountant is, then it means we are able to dictate the quality of that accountant. So that will be a key one for me, that once we then have a new act which defines an accountant, we are able to set the quality of the person we want to be. One thing that also which is in a progress is an alternative, whereby we want to get a center for finance and tax, whereby we are able to train people on specific competencies so that they are able to also churn out very, very high quality of accountants, as it were. Thank you.
The next question comes from CPA Gichohi, and you all have equal chances of responding. At this time, we start with CPA Mbaya in response.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, my first one is not really a question, it's a comment. For all the functions that I've attended for the Institute, we always start very late. Today was no exception. We had to wait for 2 hours. Even the secretariat should look into it, because sitting for 2 hours is also very difficult, and the new members can also look into it or comment about it. Let's go to the next question. About 10 years ago or so, the Institute started a benevolent fund, which has been moribund for a long time. We cannot even buy a box to farewell our late ones. We cannot give last respect. What are the new council members with the old council members going to do to help the situation? We need a benevolent fund. Members keep on ringing to us, asking us about the benevolent fund. What really do we need to do to get the benevolent fund as an active ingredient in our institute and for the benefit of all members?
Thank you, FCPA Gishoi. I must say I served on a PDC committee with the FCPA Gishoi, and I can tell you that I'm the link between the older generation of accountants and the younger ones coming in. So you need to vote for me on that one. Now, thank you. So one of the things that we need to look at, you spoke about time. As an institute, ideally, if we say the program is supposed to start at 8, we should start at 8. There's no rocket science about that. Let's just be disciplined. If our guest of honor is not here by 8, we commence. And if he comes late, we tell him apologies, but we had a program which had to start, and we started it. So that way, you do not punish those who've come on time. You do not punish those who are doing things correctly. So that's something that we ought to do. On the issue of benevolent fund, that is something that we've spoken about a lot, but I prefer to take a longer look at something. We've all heard about the adage, teach a man to fish, and you don't need to feed him. So this whole thing of benevolence, why do accountants need benevolence? We should be the ones offering benevolence. But what has happened over a period of time, because we've not costed our services properly, because we've not valued ourselves properly, the market has underpaid us. And it has underpaid us with our contribution. That's why we must get ourselves out of this thing of benevolence, this thing of begging, this thing of not being able to take care of yourself. We are financial planners. We take care of big financial organizations and ensure that they are sustainable. Why can't we do it in our private lives? That's the question I ask. As accountants, we should be able to do that in our private lives. What we should do is to ensure that an accountant is properly valued by him getting proper pay. We can do that by pushing through the fees guidelines so that we can be able to ensure that accountants are getting good payback compared to other professions. They're getting a good payback for their input. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CPA Gishohi, on that. On my manifesto, I've said it there that the issue of benevolent is a good thing for ICPAK, because that's why even if we are very good in financial management, we also insure ourselves. So benevolent is very key for us. And through my contribution as in Member Services Committee, we are introducing benevolent fund. And in the last 2 months, you saw a request from ICPAK requesting members to either say whether they want benevolent fund and how much they want to contribute in a month. That feedback we got, and 83% of the members said that they want it, so we really need this program. We are just working on the legal logistical issues so that we can be able to present this on an AGM so that it's functional. So I can assure you that when you elect CPA Kamore to make that change in July or thereabout, once the AGM approves, you'll have your benevolent back.
The issue of benevolent fund is a very serious welfare issue. And CPA Hesbon Omolo, as the chairman of Nyanza branch, has been the architect of reviving benevolent fund. In Nyanza, in my 2 years as chairman, I've been able to mobilize and deal with benevolence issues in Nyanza. I can count for you more than 3 funerals of members where we actively participated. But I think where we have reached, we need to have it institutionalized. Whatever is going on, to make it a reality, as my colleague has said, started by the Secretariat looking at what I instituted in Nyanza. And I'm very sure if you vote me in, that is going to be a reality, and we are going to have it institutionalized. As we speak today, I had mentioned earlier, one of our members is in India for treatment. And I spoke to him earlier this afternoon. He's told me he's gone through treatment and is coming back. CP Alfred Makone, who's been a long-serving member of Nyanza branch and a representative of Kisii County. It just shows you how, if we put our efforts together, we can be able to support each other. Maybe just one issue I want to add about benevolence. Some of us here do not need money on their last days. Some of us need. But one thing we all need at our very last hour of need is to have your next family, other than the people you go to every day, be beside you. And we must stand up for each other. We must be able to support a benevolent system so that tomorrow when I hear FCPA as an issue, CP Omolo will be there. And I want to tell you, when the immediate former chairman of Coast Branch lost his partner in Nyanza in Kisii, CPA Omolo and the entire Nyanza team was there. When we lost CPA Obado, who worked for many years at Kenya National Audit Office, we were there and the family really appreciated. When we lost another gentleman called Sheikh, we were there to do that. And I think we need to do it across the country because we all need each other. We are one family. So I am of the opinion that we must be able to bring it, and we must bring it immediately. Thank you.
For me, welfare really touches so much. And I co-chair the Member Services Committee, and today I can report confidently that we have actually approved a paper as a committee that benevolent fund should be brought back. And I also have an advantage of being in council, and I can actually report that also council has approved benevolent fund to come back. So I can assure you that that will no longer be an issue. It will actually be implemented as approved. Thank you.
I think the issue of writtenness was just a comment, so I will not comment. But the benevolent fund, I have a slightly different view. My view is that really we need to balance the needs of the institute. If you look at our financial statements, all right? If you look at the kitty, the money that the institute has at the moment, we have to be very careful how we tap into that, because then we may not have the resources, because I do not know perhaps whether we have done a study to see what is the likely expenditure on an annual basis. Instead of that fund, what I would propose is just the same thing that the Institute has done with the insurance companies to give a scheme for our motor vehicles, is to come up with a scheme where every member saves something small when you are paying your subscription, perhaps some 200 or 500 shillings on an annual basis. Have a scheme within the Institute that is commercially negotiated with an insurance company that is preferential. That is what we need to tap into. I do not know the details of what has been proposed by Council at the moment, but a blanket benevolent fund where we would tap into this, ritual resources we have to support members is not sustainable in the long term. So I think, yes, I'm in support, but differently, so that we look at it where every member invests in their old age or in their future or in their exit from this earth. Let us invest in a small kitty, some 500 shilling to pay on an annual basis in an insurance form of a scheme. And then when you pass on, you are assured of getting some 50,000 or 100,000 to support your family or your final rights. That's how I see it. Thank you very much.
The last question comes from CPA Metrin Wafula, and this time CPA Kamwere will start the response. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Yeah, my question is concerning representation. Because from my observation, I'm seeing like most members represented here are from public sector. So my concern was, how is it going to be done? What is going to be done to ensure like most members from private sector also not only like pay subscription to the ICPAK, but also are forced to participate in these meetings? Because from the look of things, most private sectors are not in a position like to support their members to attend meetings, yet they need quality service. How are we going to do to ensure like all accountants are updated with the new emerging issues and trends in accounting profession and come up with solutions that can equip every person and every organization to come out with the results?
Thank you very much for that question, and it's good that I also come from private sector, so I know the heat from our employers when we want them to sponsor our training. On my change agenda, on N it means network, and the network which I want to create is to create with private sector, and I've said it, we need to create networks with Kenya Association of Manufacturers, we need to create networks with KEPSA, we need to create networks with Kenya National Chambers of Commerce, because these are the employers in the private sector. So the moment we tell them the sense of having professionalism in the organization, then they will be able to trickle down to their members. So that's the approach I'm going to take. I've already contacted a few directors at KEPSA, and they are telling me, Kamwere, once you join ICPAK Council, we'll give you all the support. They are just waiting for me to join Council so that we can start formal negotiations.
My view would be that, number one, it may not be possible for all our members to be able to afford attending some of these events. So I would support a situation where we embrace a lot of online CPD programs so that issues of compliance and information dissemination becomes easy for our members and affordable. So I would look at that as a first priority. Number two, I would also look at the possibility of sensitizing the private sector to embrace the need for supporting their members to attend these CPD events, because they're able to enrich their output in those organizations. And if we do that, we'll be able to support our members to attend, especially those in the private sector. But finally, we've always said that there is a challenge out there. Organizations are not paying our members well. If we make amendments on issues around the minimum fees guidelines, then the ripple effect will move, not just from the audit firms who charge reasonable fees, but even the companies will start looking at the accountants and people who work under them as people of value by just looking at what we pay the auditors. Because we can't expect the accountant to be paid reasonable salary when the audit fee, which is a bigger job to be done at the end of the year, is so minimal. I think that is something we need to do, and we need to do it immediately. Thank you. To enhance participation, one of the things that
I will continue championing is sensitization, whereby we then see the value of why we need to have the private sector also participating in this kind of activities. Another way of doing it is that we are going to put to empower the marketing wing at the secretariat so that they're able to go out and reach out to the private sector, to the companies, and tell them that you need to participate in the activities. So through a marketing program, that will be able to help. Another way to do it, of course, is to devolve events to various places so that the cost of travel and all these ones can be diversified, so not just one area. That would be a good way. Another way is that we need to empower the secretariat by looking at other alternative sources of raising their income so that these events also become more affordable. One of it is where I chair the research and development. We are trying to see how the institute can develop other avenues of getting revenue. That way, we are able to release pressure from the training fee, which sometimes becomes a hindrance in terms of people attending the events. Thank you.
Okay, I will be quick in the interest of, to make sure we don't have only 2 people left in the room. And that's feedback really for you organizers, because if you look at the back, the empty seats, I think what I would really like to say is for the young members, what we need to do, if you look at my manifesto, those who may have it, it's very clear how to reduce the cost of CPD. But I think the Institute is doing a good thing at the moment. The recruitment offer which has been there. And I think once we've recruited them, let's not lose them. I have analyzed those who joined last year. Most of them this year didn't pay SAPs. Now what we could do as a council, because now we have masses, we have more members, is to say any member who is below 3 years of joining pays a special rate of 5,000 per annum over the next 3 years. Then when they have settled in their careers, they can catch up and pay the 10,000. This is really going to get the young fellows to settle and to catch up with the rest. Thanks.
Thank you. I would say the fact that we have a lot more public sector people in this gathering, more than private sector people, does not mean that private sector people are not interested in ICPAK affairs. It just means that there's a lot of variety that the Institute is able to provide, and it's just that maybe the private sector people have decided, having looked at your calendar of events, that there may be more events which might be more suited towards their practice. And then the other thing that we can also look at is timing. The timing that you put this session on is in the middle of May, and you find that for private sector companies which are struggling to do their tax returns by June, you find that this might not be an ideal time for them to have their accountants come here for a week. So that is something that we're going to look at. I'm sure like if we had this session in December or in November, you might find that the numbers will twist around and you find that the private sector is more. But all in all, I support variety. What we're saying is that the private sector have not refused to come here. They will still participate with ICPAK programs. They have just not chosen this one. They will choose others. Let us give them more variety so that we also encourage them to come. But I think it should not be wrongly construed that the fact that there are more public sector people here does not mean that the private sector does not want to engage with ICPAK. I think that would be a wrong conclusion.
Help me appreciate the people who raised the questions as they go to sit. CPA Joyce Kamau, CPA Silas Menge, FCPA Gishoi, and CPA Metrin Wafula. And another round of applause to the contestants. It's very hot here, really hot. A better clap to the contestants, please. Now, I will now welcome my chairman, the returning officer, CPA Isaac Ruto. CPA Isaac Ruto served with me in the elections team last year, and so I'm very happy to be with him again in this 2016 elections. And you bear me witness that he did a good job to lead the team, isn't it? Can we appreciate him before he chairs the session, please? A better clap for my boss. Thank you.
Thank you, Millicent. Can we give her a clap? We're almost coming to the end of our session. Our final part, which is part C, we would like to give candidates to give their closing remarks, and I will encourage the candidates not to dwell on their profile, because already we have it in the website, and also let them give us realistic things they can do for the members. You should not tell the members that once you are elected, you are going to increase their salaries, also that you are going to give them the non-practicing allowance. I mean, we encourage you to bring some realistic things you can do for the members. I will start with CPA Espo Nomolo to give his closing remarks. Welcome, CPA. Espo Nomolo. Yeah? We are going to give you only 2 minutes.
Okay, fellow members, CPA Espo Nomolo is seeking your votes to be the next council member. I have over the last 2 years served as ICPAK Nyanza branch chairman, and in that 2-year period, I was able to grow the branch from 230 members to 534. I was able to increase the attendance of members to CPD events through a lot of networking. I've been able to help build the brand of ICPAK in the entire Nyanza region. I've been able to engage with other leaders across the entire country, all the 9 branches, and the secretariat to ensure that the issues that affect members are really addressed. And I want to request your vote so that we proceed in delivering on issues around devolution, so that we eventually have physical branches in all the physical offices in all the counties. Also to offer technical support to the branch networks so that they're able to deliver on the challenges of governance and accountability. I want to help expand opportunities for members. I want to commit to you that there are 2 key things that I will try to push to change at ICPAK when I join the council. One is to have multiple licenses so that we're able to recognize the diversities. 2 is to deal with the issues of audit fee guidelines so that we're able to earn what is able to support our members to grow and pay fair remuneration. I've mentioned the issue of welfare concern for members. I will help continue to push for a benevolent fund. ICPAK voice must be heard stronger on accountability issues. I propose and I will support the branches to be technically supported to deal with accountability and governance challenges within the counties so that they are able to respond appropriately. Finally, it's on a commitment. In all these things we are saying here, if you are not committed, you cannot deliver to members. CPA Espo Nomolo, in the 2 years he served as Nyanza branch chairman, attended all the meetings. CPA Espo Nomolo, for the last 1 year, as a member of the Practitioners Development Committee, I have attended all the meetings, and the issue of audit fee guidelines that we've been talking here has been discussed in that committee. For the last 1 year, as a member of Devolution Workstream, I've also attended all the meetings, and I am the initiator of the remuneration policy that today will ensure that a committee member moving from Turkana to Eldoret for a meeting is able to get supported to attend the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to encourage the candidates. Already as you're answering the question, you really bring out your points. So just pick 1 or 2 key points. CPA Joshua Kamwere.
Thank you very much, CPA Arrow. We must agree that in these elections, it's very competitive. Very competitive. But it's because we need change. That's why you see we have 5 candidates, we have 4 men and 1 young man. And that 1 young man is CPA Kamwere. And there is things which are unique with CPA Kamwere. I just want to draw your attention. Very things which are unique. CPA Kamwere is the only candidate who didn't have writing material. So as I said that I'm a bright, sharp, you can agree to that. So what I'm bringing to council is the brightness and the energy which we need in council. CPA Joshua Kamwere is the only candidate who went to a jail to go and seek votes from people from Northeastern. So you can see the energy and the commitment. CPA Kamwere is one of the few CPA members who chairs ICPAK committee. I'm a chair of ICPAK Youth and Students Affairs Committee, and that has shown that I have leadership skills which have been entrusted on me, and that's why I'm the only few people who hold that position. Some people are also wondering, why don't we have a lady CPA vying? It's because all lady CPAs, I've talked to them, and they are saying CPA Kamwere Tosha, and they have a slogan, Warembo na Kamwere. As we speak now, CPA Kamwere is 31 years old. So in the next 3 years, he will be 34. So it really means that this guy is representing the young generation. So that's why you find that most of the youth, because of the way we take things, have gone out and they have made their decision that they are supporting CPA Kamwere. From my scorecard, you'll see a lot of things which I've been able to articulate there. And one of the things, the few public CPAs who are here, if you read the minutes of last AGM, there are matters raised during that AGM. And one was the composition of council committees. And through that, council has responded that through my initiative as CPA Joshua Kamwere, we now have youth committee and we have public sector committee. So this is a person who is having all membership at heart. And for me, for the branches, I've been very vocal. I've also ensured that I've traveled to all branches. I've gone to the most northern part of Kenya, and I seek your support. I'm the only candidate who was not told time off. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CPA. CPA Michael Mbaya, 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you, members. As has been said before, I'm CPA Mike Mbaya. I am a long-serving accountant. I've been in this industry for 17 years, despite my youth. So you'll be able to get somebody who's very experienced, somebody who's exposed, somebody who has worked with the old generation, as we saw with CPA Gishoi and many others, and somebody who's also interacted with young generations, and I'm able to touch on their issues that are pertinent to them. So you'd be able to get somebody who's very experienced, but still has the energy and valor to push forward young people's agenda. You will find that my fellow CPA visited Wajir, but I must also say that when that branch was starting, when the people were brave enough to go there, the first people who were brave enough to go to Northeastern in Garissa, I was actually one of them. And we were 2 people from Nairobi who took off to go and form that branch of Northeastern Province. We're happy to see that it is growing. We're happy to see that it is extending. We're happy to see that we're getting to the reach of accountants all over the country. When I joined the PDC committee, we had only 1 branch here in Mombasa. Today, we proudly have 9 branches all across the country. And that is something which I've contributed greatly to. I'm also a member of the International Federation of Accountants. I sit on one of their committees, and that is the international exposure that I bring to ICPAK, that I'll be able to articulate members' views from Kenya, issues from Africa, to be able to articulate them at that level, so that the input from the Kenyan ICPAK member is felt. And that can be greatly enhanced by having me at the council, so that I can be able to take your message forward to the International Federation of Accountants, so that when standards are brought out, your input is in those standards that are coming out from the international level. Then, I would also like to lastly say in sitting that I was the lead consultant in developing the strategic plan for the Rwandan Institute, and that strategic plan led to the Rwandan Institute being recognized by ICPAK as one of the most forward-moving institutes in the world. So by having me on the council, you will be able to tap into those resources, tap into that energy, and you'll be able to have a world-class institute. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a timekeeper, so when he raises the red flag, please adhere to that. CPA Michael Burugu.
Thank you. I'm going to be very brief. I'm sure most of you've got my manifesto about what really I've done for the Institute since the year 2008 to date in various committees. You'll be able to appreciate it from there. I want to spend time on one subject that is very passionate to me. And this is also going to help the Institute manage its finances. This is the issue of the CPD programs, other than, of course, this annual seminar, which I still think is necessary to hold here or somewhere. But about the other trainings, how we've conducted them in the past, bringing people in hotels, charging money, paying almost all that money to the hotel, and then going home. The Institute remains without anything. I really would like fitting again within the strategic agenda for the next 3 years that the current council has put in place. And that is why they have gone into actually procuring the auditing software, is actually to digitalize these CPD trainings. It's very possible, it's been tested, tried. All the big 4 firms, for example, I assume, do have, but I know at least the big firms do have that kind of a facility. You pay some 10,000 shillings, get a token, the system is able to tell how many minutes you spend, you do a proficiency test, you get your CPD. Now, we have recruited 6,000 young members. In future, we are not going to recruit old members with capability. We'll continue to recruit young members who have no finances. How do we encourage them to continue being in the institute? Is to make it affordable to them so that they can be able to continue being with us. And I can tell you, if you look at the financial statements, in 2012, 13, 14, we spent over 256 million shillings on this cost alone. It is possible to, in fact, have those costs with a good CPD training platform, and then invest that money in devolution, in funding the branches, and supporting the young practitioners. Thank you very much, and I urge you to vote for me.
Finally, CPA Obare Nyaeka.
Thank you very much. Say high five to your neighbor. Just give them a big high five. So I want to first start by thanking you very much for supporting me last time. And I come today to ask for your support for my second and final term. And I know that there are a couple of things I promised a number of years back. There were 4 of them. And in each of them, I've put them out what I've done in detail. So go to my website, go to the manifesto, check my YouTube. You're able to see how we have done these things and what you've done so far. One of the things that is passion to me is research and development. And I know that any professional body or organization we want to grow far, they have to really invest in research and development. This is one of the wings we can grow and be able to really ensure that we don't have so much pressure in terms of our training fee, which is our main source of income. But most importantly, every time I speak to my young people, my son, I want him to become an accountant. Not because the father is an accountant, but because he's the professional to be in. I am a person who believes in the brand very strongly. And I know that if you give me this chance this time around, I now have the experience. I've been tested. You have my manifesto. You know what I've done. I know there's work which we are work in progress. And I am sure that we're able to complete this thing. And all of us at one time will be very proud to become the accountants and will be called the accountant. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. We've come to the end of the debate. You can agree with me. The candidates have done very well. Can we give them a very good clap? Thank you very much. The timetable, the election timetable is in the website. Because of time, I'm not going to read it again. We will leave it at that. And I will only encourage members, let's come out and let's vote in large numbers. Last year, we did 48%. That was 5,862 members voted. This year, the eligible members are 11,185. We expect this time around that at least 80 to 90% of members will vote. We really encourage that you vote in large numbers. When you vote in large numbers, you vote in a strong candidate. The candidates have come out strongly. Now you're going to vote for them based on their performance in this debate and other debates in other forums. We would encourage members not to vote on tribal lines, not to vote on sectoral or organizational arrangements. Let them vote based on issues. That's, as the election team, what we encourage members to do. I want to thank the conveners of this particular annual seminar for giving us time on the first day to hear out the candidates. We are really very thankful. I want to thank the former chairs and council and the current chair and the council members for giving us the structured questions together with members who contributed. We are so grateful for that gesture. I want to wish all the candidates all the best. I want also to thank Council Member June. She personally called and gave a contribution for this debate, and many other people who called in. We really appreciate for coming strongly and support this thing. I want to thank the members who we know our time has really gone. We thank you for staying until this late to listen to the candidates. I thank you all, and I wish the candidate all the best. I want to invite Tom to give his closing remarks. I can now release the candidates to go and sit. Just give them a clap as they go and sit down. Karibu, Tom. Karibu, sir. Thanks.
So we are coming to a close of the day. First, just very quick one. Emails were sent. SMSs were sent on the feedback. Click on the link, please. Give us your feedback for the day so that can analyze it automatically. That is online. Those who are using buses in the North Coast, the buses are outside the gates. taking you to hotels in the North Coast. Tomorrow pickup time is 7:45 in the morning. We should be here in good time to start the session. And then finally, if you're going to use airport transfer services from our end, also make a point tomorrow to register at the Secretariat desk. I'd request us to rise up so that we can close the day with our national prayer, which is national anthem. Thank you and God bless you.
Najua kuna wengi wamezama ndani ya hilo penzi lako, sitie shaka mpenzi, chombo chako imara litazidi kuelea mpaka tufike ng'ambo ile. Mpenzi, say, will you be my one and only shady, one and only? Tukuze umokwano kwa